Okay, so I want to talk about my experience on one of the lives, talking about Lil Nas X and the black community, and how I said that, you know, the church has always been bashed by the music industry, whether it's rock music, whether it's pop music like Madonna, whether, it's been that way for a long time. Now, when it came to the black community, it's always been that way with Tupac, Nas, and you had Kanye West, and you had the baby. So Lil Nas X, it's his turn, and they always do that. That's just the way the industry is. Okay. And when I talked about how, do you think the church has a selective outrage? I would say yeah, because Kanye West did all that stuff, and now he just says, well, now I'm a Christian. And it's just that Christian is like a buzzword. There's no okay, you got to prove yourself. You got to be like, okay, we got to see some evidence that you actually are a Christian. They just hop on it and be like, yeah, he's a Christian now, so we could still listen to his music. That's basically what it is with Christians when it comes to that. I mean, a lot of them, they're still, they still want to be part of the culture. Okay, and this is like, you have this with white Christians, Chinese Christians, whatever culture they were brought up in, and they have to let that go because now they say they're a quote unquote Christian. A lot of them will fall back and be like, Lil Nas X said he's a Christian now, so I could listen to his music where he's, in a video dancing in the buff with a bunch of other dudes dancing in the buff. Okay. And then you had a young black woman say that, she's non, how do I put this? A non-defined character. That's how I would say it. A non-defined character. Like born female, but a non-defined character. That's how I have to say it. So I don't want to, I don't want the Gestapo to come after me now, the TikTok Gestapo. And this is how it is within the certain urban parts of the black community. All right. That a lot of them will talk about white supremacy. White supremacy is this, white supremacy is that. But you don't understand that the white supremacy in your face when you have these black entertainers who work for the small hats. Because people talk, let me put it this way. People talk about who runs hip hop, which rap artist runs hip hop. Let me tell you something. If you're not a small hat, you don't run hip hop. You don't. You don't run the TV programs. You don't run the news stations. Okay. These people have been involved in so much stuff. Once you start to look at it, these people control Trump. Hate to break it to you Republicans, but Trump is not your savior. Trump is going to do whatever the small hats tell him to do. That's how deep it is. So when I talk to them about things like how this is like, Lil Nas X is just basically a propaganda tool to bring in that rainbow stuff on people, right? And then I got hit with, well, how does him being his lifestyle affect you? And you got to chuckle with that because the fact of the matter is they don't understand that all these artists, right? I'll break this down like this. If you want to sell cars, you will get a half-naked woman to sit right next to that car. You will sell that car a lot faster than you will sell that car with a man in a nice suit next to it saying, oh, this is Mitsubishi. This is a Mitsubishi car. Come down to the dealership and buy this Mitsubishi car. No, you get a fitness model from Sports Illustrated, have her next to that Mitsubishi and say, this is a Mitsubishi car, the latest in its new market. Come down and buy a Mitsubishi car. I guarantee you will have more men coming down to that Mitsubishi dealership to get that car than you have a man, okay, modeling himself to get that car. Okay? People who are in control running this world, you use certain things to get people to buy products or to buy into agendas. That's how it is. Okay? Why do you think there's more money, more of a profit, having people single than you have people married? Because married people don't spend as much money into the market as do single people. Now let's talk about Lil Nas X, all right? When you have people like him, right, doing things that are rebellious to, let's say, Christianity, all right? Or you have Madonna doing the same thing, right? Having a kiss with Britney Spears. You know what's going to happen? And they say, let's say they believe in God. You know what's going to be put in those kids' heads? You know what? I'm a young alphabet, so I'm coming to your church, and you have to accept me because Lil Nas X, okay, or I saw Madonna kissing another woman, and she says she believes in God, so you should accept me. And that's how it goes. These people are like props. Even Taylor Swift, it was on Fox News, Taylor Swift, okay? She's more of a prop. She's also been known to be a government asset because she has influence. Lil Nas X, influence. Nas, influence. So if Lil Nas X is twerking on the devil, the influence there is to basically, you know what? I don't have to take God seriously either. All right? And many of these black church folk, you got some whites too, will sell out and make a business out of it because more people in the church, more tithes, more money to do what they want to do on the side. And they will also influence your children to want to be a part of that lifestyle. And when I talked about this on the live on the TikTok, I got a lot of people, let's just say a lot of people got triggered. Okay? A lot of people got triggered because I was just telling the truth. That's it. And then we went into the alphabet about why some of these Decepticon women, I'm going to call them made in China women. I'm going to say that, made in China women were getting deleted. And I was saying that the reason why they're getting deleted is because they're not honest about who they are. Okay? You were not, I'm going to try to talk in code. You were not manufactured that way. Okay? You weren't born that way. So now you're going to tell a person, well, you know what? After you're going to tell a person after you've kissed, after you've, try to trick them, that I'm not who you really want. You may want some egg foo young, but I was born with chicken chow mein. I'll put it that way. All right? So, and then you expect not something to happen to you. And that led up to being a that ended up being a not let's just say it wasn't so pleasant. All right? And what I've come to realize is that A lot of black people in the urban community don't understand what it means to fight white supremacy. Okay? This is a real war that is coming through the media, coming through your music, especially the media, all right? Through political parties, both Democrat and Republican. They're both the same, really. They want to put the foot on the black person's neck. One side wants you back in chains. The other side thinks you're too dumb to think for yourself independently. You've seen how the Democrats are freaking out that blacks are not willing to vote Democrat in 2024. They feel very entitled to the black vote. And I can only blame blacks for that because blacks who have voted Democrat consistently over the past 60 years. All right. No, it is a race thing. It is a race thing. Okay. They're trying to keep the blacks down through warped thinking, especially a thinking that will keep you from having healthy families, as with the alphabet mafia, having introducing them to the alphabet lifestyle. This was introduced also through the civil rights movement. Okay. And I forgot one of the people working within the civil rights movement. He was an alphabet, and he was rolling with Martin Luther King, and they were having their little parties. And let's just say he got caught in some compromised positions that he had to spend a couple of months in jail. Okay, and these were the people, this is what I'm saying, this so-called Martin Luther King, the communist Martin Luther King, was thought to be a sort of a Christian. And the reason why I mention him, because this is all NWO, okay? And Martin Luther King was the Barack Obama before there was Barack Obama. And his civil rights movement was basically a communist movement to integrate blacks into a system to keep them from being, having their own stuff. Okay? And you could just look this up, anytime, they had their own stuff, it was destroyed or demolished to have a highway through it. But anyway, so I was talking with them, and they really didn't understand that what white supremacy is, okay, and how they wanted to how white supremacy puts their foot on black people's neck, especially through music. And hip hop is a religion, okay? Even KRS-One said hip hop is a religion. Hip hop has its own Bible. You could look that up. And it even has its own temple. You could even look that up too. Hip hop has its own temple. A lot of people don't understand this. They don't know about this. All right. So I was talking to them, and, one of the Decepticons, made in China women, said that, we're being attacked for just existing. No, you're being attacked because you're playing camouflage, all right? You're playing hide the zucchini, okay? And then you want to be like, surprise! And you think that's going to be fair. All right? And I told the person who they were, like, dude, and like, oh, my code that I want to be addressed by is he, she, or them. I said, oh. In my head, I was like, oh, so you want to be addressed like, demons. Because the only people I know with those types of pronouns are demons. Hate to say it that way. It's like they deny it. They deny all types of accountability. That's the thing. It's wild, man. It's really wild. Okay. How the liberals have done a number on the black community. And then I went into the fact about the lifestyle of the Decepticons. I'm going to call them Decepticons. And how it puts them in danger. There's a very high self-deletion rate. Okay. There's also the fact that it takes 30 years off your lifespan as a man. Okay. And a lot of the, when I was in that black chat, they got very angry. Okay. Because I was telling truth. And even one of them was saying that, listen, what he's saying is he tried to water down. It was funny. He's saying, what he's saying is kind of true. I'm like, what I'm saying is the truth. I'm sorry. It does take 30 years off your lifespan. They suffer from things like rectal cancer, mouth gonorrhea, E. coli. And he was saying that I was right because of the fact that the Decepticons and the alphabet participate in types of behavior that you have to do penetration, and you're penetrating yourself to a place where you're not supposed to be doing that. Okay? Which leads to diseases. So when he said that, a lot of them in the comments were like, that's not true, that's not true. And I'm laughing my head off because what I'm saying is the truth. Okay? Just because a couple of people hijacked the American Psychiatry Association and reworded it, it doesn't hide from the fact of what they've discovered before you hijacked it, that, yeah, the rainbow lifestyle does a number on the human body, which is not good. Okay? I mean, you guys could look this up yourself, that the alphabet lifestyle takes 30 years off your lifespan. And if you think logically, who has more partners? Straight arrows or the rainbow? The rainbow. Who participates in these types of lifestyles? The rainbow or the straight arrows? The rainbow. Okay. And one person was like, well, does it make it okay for straight people to participate in these lifestyles? I said, no, it doesn't, because actually, if you could look up the information for yourself, you will find that doing oral and anal sex is not conducive to the human body, period, due to the fact that those parts aren't really meant for you to be putting. You're not supposed, let's put it that way. Those parts, your mouth is meant to eat. And the other parts are meant for waste exits. It's meant for exits, okay? So you're not supposed to. And the fact of the matter is that the rainbow suffer more consequences because that's how they get it on. Straight people don't have to do that. But the alphabet does, because that's how they get it on. So that ended up being like a total, let's just say it was just trigger fest when it came to that. But I've noticed that when you really wake up to white supremacy and tactics, it makes you an enemy in the black community. It really does. And you can't just say, well, it's just the left. No, the the right does it too, because you got people like Robert Bussy Smith. Okay, what else? Who's that other guy? You have I forgot him. Him and his other partner. I forgot his name, but they have a kid together. Something I forgot his name. But it's Robert Smith, and you got Blair Whyte on the right too. So, like I said, it's just two sides of the same snake, right? And they're pushing this. I mean, when Trump was in power, they had the rainbow for Trump, and he was holding a banner for that too. So it's just the Republicans just showing their mask off now. All right, that's how I see it. But yeah, man, it just seems like The black community could shout all the time that, yeah, white supremacy, but you're shaking hands with it all the whole damn time. Okay? Obama, right? I mean, I wanted to change. I wanted freedom. I wanted, something different. But Obama ended up being the same damn thing, man. I mean, Bush was bad, and so was Obama. And then you want to look for Trump, and you find out Trump is just as much a scum as the rest too. He's down with the he's down with the Shabbat, and he's down with Israel. Okay. Also with the situation with John Casablancas. All right. Not to mention, him and Giuliani was messing around in some sort of skit. Like, ain't no grown man gonna be playing around no skit with another man dressing in drag. That's how I see it, man. I don't care. I don't care. But that's how it is, man. That is how it is. That's what I see with white supremacy has done a number on black people. Like, they don't see nothing wrong with Lil Nas X. Not all black people are like this. The ones from the hood, from the urban, that are part of the black culture, they don't see nothing wrong with Lil Nas X. Nothing wrong with a man gyrate and make a lap dance with another man, or dancing in the buff with a bunch of other men. But if you as a black person have a brain and you speak out against it, you are the enemy. You can see communism there at work too. It's wild, man. It's wild. It's so wild. But I'm used to it, as a black man. I'm used to it. I mean, you take the insults. But it's just, you do it, you just have these conversations because, I got to say what's on my mind, man. I'm not going to sugarcoat it. I'm not going to sit there and be like, oh, yes, I'm supposed to call you a she, when I know you were born with bass in your voice. Yes, I can't do that. I'm sorry. No. Okay? And they tell you, you're not going to do that. You're not going to tell them the truth. You're not going to say. I mean, I don't, I can't. I'm not going to toe the line. I'm not going to do that. Okay? Not when you know the truth. All right? Especially when people are, the sad thing is like when they're talking about the, how do I put this? The Decepticons. I think the Decepticons I'm going to use the T-1000 analogy. That's what I'll use. T-1000. Okay. T-1000 because they could, they shapeshift, and the T-1000 gets you in its sights, then it will take you out. And that's what these T-1000s don't understand. Okay. When you lie to a person, a potential mate, you take away their choice to choose. Okay, if they want to be with you. And a lot of them, they will be honest with you. I don't feel like I have to tell them who I am. But then you're going to get mad when they flip on you and play victim. These people know what they are doing. All right? They know what they are doing. They are not victims. They are willing participants. And the sad thing is, like, there was a white T-1000 there in the black live stream and just lying. I will say liberals are more dangerous to black people than Republicans. Republicans will tell you in your face, look, I don't believe, racism never existed. Bullface lie to you. Democrats, they'll try to be your friend. Low key insult you. And when they're firmly entrenched and comfortable among you, that's when they'll say this sick nonsense. Okay. And a lot of black people from the urban community really buy into communism. And that's another thing too. I don't think they understand that they're communists and they don't even know it. Like, you've bought into communism and you don't know it. Okay? Bought into this mentality that if you don't agree with me, if you don't agree with my views, you're my enemy. That's another thing too. Like, if you don't agree that the fact of T1000 is really is really a woman, just like a normal woman, you're the enemy. Even though you're going by common sense and science. They really think you're the enemy. And they really believe this stuff too. You try to tell them the truth and they get really mad at you. Like, they want to, it's very scary to think, like, what would happen if you had this conversation in public? That's the thing. I mean, a lot of them don't even know the fact of that there's chomos in the alphabet community. They go hand in hand. Chomos is a slang term. It's a prison slang term. Look it up. I'm not really going to go into that. Right now I'm trying to go under the radar right now. But that they have that in that culture. All right. And what they don't tell you about in the rainbow community, that the T1000s, okay, are trying to pressure. All right. They try to pressure the thespians. That's what they try to do. They try to pressure the thespians for acceptance. Look what thespians rhyme with. You'll know what I'm saying. Amy Goodman, I believe, they had an article on the BBC about what goes on in the rainbow community and how the thespians were catching hell with the T1000s. And the thespian was also on, when Tucker Carlson was still on Fox, she would talk about it. And like, yeah, I wasn't comfortable with the thespians being in our ranks, and they kicked me out because I spoke my mind. And there's been a lot of grape situations with the T1000s against the thespians. And sooner or later, the black community, these supporters within the urban black community are going to end up having those same type of problems. Okay? That's what many black people who are super on the left, super progressive, super communists do not understand what they're doing. You hate the right, but the left is just as bad. The left is just as worse because they pretend to be your friend, pretend to be against white supremacy, when in reality they want to have you viewed in a negative light to fuel the Republicans' view of looking at you as predators. Both sides hate black people's guts. Republican and Democrat hate black people's guts. Okay? And they are working hard, both sides, to have you viewed as evil. But unfortunately, within the black community, the urban parts, they don't understand that. And it's sad. It really is. Well, hopefully I will be able to have these TikToks where I'll open up the comment section and, have debates, conversations. One of these days I will. But other than that, I just wanted to have this rant. Talk to you all later.